Hi guys, Celestia here. Ooh. I didn't realize how dark it was even with the light on. It's been raining most of the night here and it's still really, really cloudy. It's supposed to rain most of the day, but people are sleeping. Just always a good time to do videos. So in the last part of the story of Fig, Eldred and Fig were going to do a rummage in stores just to pick out some things. And I'm not going to bore you with all of the details. They found some vintage pieces that Eldred knew that, according to his father, had been made from the boats that had come down the river and had, hit the rapids and broken apart and whatever. They washed up on shore and people made items out of them. They found some stools and some tables, and they found a larger dining table. Not too big, but just big enough, probably for 4 people. And some chairs to go with it. They had decided that the divans would be great just to use as couches. They didn't really need couches. I mean, they were quite large, big enough for, 2 people to sit on, 1 person to lounge on. And of course, there's all those cushions. So on their way out, they have quite a pile of furniture that they had picked out. And on the way out, Fig found some more things. She found a trunk that could be used for storage. She found some pewter dishes and cutlery that would be able to be, used for eating off of. A very large pot to put over a fire or on a stove. And while they were looking, Eldred found a very large cast iron stove. Like a pot-bellied stove, but more oval than round. And he called Fig over and said, "What do you think of this?" She said, "Oh my," she says, "it looks like it was supposed to go to somebody's house. It's still in a crate." He said, "I know." He said, "Do you think Galan would be able to put this in the kitchen?" She said, "I don't see why not." She said, "Maybe we should find him and ask him." And as if he sensed that they needed him, Galan comes in to stores and says, "There you 2 are." They, of course, both jump. He says, "Oh, I'm sorry." He said, I thought you heard me." He said, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you." She said, "No." She said, Fig says, "No, it's okay." She said, She says, "Galan, look what we found." He comes over and he's like, he says, "I think this is one of the," he said, "I don't know what it is." It's a stove. She said, "But look, it has 2 cooking surfaces and 2 fireboxes." She said, "Which means if you only want to use one of the parts of the stove, you can." Yes. Oh, he says, "It's going to take some." He says, "We may have to put a pulley and ropes up." He said, "Because there's no way we can carry this thing up the stairs." Oh, she says, "Is it going to be too much for you?" He says, "Of course not." No. He said, how do you think we got your mother's stove up?" "Used a pulley system." "Don't worry about it, Fig. You worry too much, dear." He says, "You're right." She says, "You're right, I'm sorry." He says, "Actually, I'm looking for Eldred." "Oh." Eldred says, "Of course." He says, the chief has asked you to come to the elders' meeting room. We have an important duty to... Oh, right. Vegas. Eldred says, I need to be sworn in as an elder, sweetie. So, of course you do. Galan says, whatever you find, Fig, you leave right there in that pile. And I know that you want the stove. He says, and my men will take care of everything for you. Oh, she says, Galan. She says, wonderful. Thank you so much. He says, but remember, you can move in anytime. You can move in today. You can move in right now if you want. And the things will be brought up and the men will help you put them where you need them. Eldred said, I think probably Flar and I would be able to do that for her. Galen's like, whatever. He says, but if you need help. He says, of course. Yes. Yes, he says, I'm coming. He says, I'm just in casual clothes. Do I need to? He says, something maybe a little more. He says, not formal. He says, I understand. Excuse me. He says, I'll see you there. I have to round up the others. He says, yes, of course. He leaves and he looks at Fig and he goes, she's so Eldred. She says, it's nothing to worry about. It's just a formality. She says, I don't know the ceremony. I'm not privy to that information because I'm not an elder. And you're not allowed to tell me about it either. Really? He says, oh, yeah. She says, oh, yes. She said, that's the way it works. He says, very well. Well, he says, I really must go. I have to get you. She says, you go, Eldred. It's fine. I'll be fine. He says, don't try and live. She says, I won't. I promise. He says, good. Thank you. He looks at her again and goes, she says, oh, go, silly. So he goes off. Fig finishes picking out the furniture, and the furniture that she can move, she does. And she manages to find 2 men that will help her move the other furniture that she can't move. And of course, being daughter of the chief, they're more than willing to help her, just as they would any member of the chief's family. It's one of the perks. And things just seem so right to Fig. She's going to have her own home. She's picked up furniture that she loves. And eventually she'll go to, she and Eldred will pick out things that they want to have there after the wedding. So she's just kind of thinking on her way back to the great tree. Meanwhile, Eldred is in the council chambers, as we call it, I guess. And there is Flar looking very officious. The elders looking quite dapper. And he walks in. He looks quite smart. He's very, had a very quick wash. Combed his hair. Changed his clothes. Knocks on the door, and Flar, he'd knocked on the door and Flar told him to come in. Flar says, come in, Eldred. And the rest of the elders, they stand. And he says, I'm going to get right to it. I'm not going to play around. He said, we really need to get this done. He said, Lyneth and Alwyn are finished with the amulets. And we need to call another clan meeting. He says, very well. I'm prepared. He says, you're not going in front of the firing squad. Relax, man, relax. He says, I'm excited. Happy, proud that I'm going to represent the clan. He says, good. He says, shall we start? Looks at the other elders and they all nod. Well, all. Ryo, Alwyn, and Galan. They nod. He says, Eldred, step forward, please. So he steps forward. He says, Eldred, son of Roland. Are you here of your own free will? He said, yes. He said, do you understand that after this ceremony you will answer to the clan, to the elders, and to myself? He says, yes, I do. He says, very well. Now the rest of the ceremony is quite secret, so I'm not going to share that with you. But basically he swears to uphold Elven law, and that he will answer to the chief first, to the elder second, and then he will be held accountable by the clan. That the only person he really needs to listen to is the chief. He basically is his boss. And that he is on the same standing as the other three elders. He's a junior elder, but that just really means that he's new. There was no, slashing of wrists and taking of blood or anything like that. Just private Elven ceremony. When it was finished, he was toasted with wine by the elders who welcomed him, by his chief. And Ryo, being the eldest of the elders, now that Macathus and Elfinor are no longer there, he says, do you have anything that you would like to say to us, Eldred? He said, I really can't add much more than what I said in the ceremony, other than I'm honored to have been asked to be chosen for this position. And I am now honored even more that it has come to fruition and that I am an elder of this clan. He said, I never dreamed that this would happen. And I thank you. Alwyn says, well said, Eldred. She said, your apprehension is understandable. She said, but you're going to have to become more confident in yourself when it comes to speaking with the clan members, or they won't take you seriously. She said, that's my advice to you. Galan says, and my advice to you, Eldred, is to be yourself. You're a wonderful man, and we're fortunate to have you. Trust your instincts, trust your gut. He said, it won't lead you astray. He said, if you think something is hinky, then it's hinky. If you think there's something that the chief needs to know, then you go to him. Which, of course, will be easy. Eldred said, now that I'll be living there. They all kind of look at him. He said, Vega's moving into the tent. where we stayed while we were on the run after the attempts on the chief's life. And Fig and I are going to live there after we're married. But she wants to live there for a while first, which is understandable. Have some independence. And she wants to learn to cook, so all of these things will happen. Glenn says, and yes, he said, and I'm helping that happen. He said, I'm very proud to make Fig's home livable and then make it so that it will be a home for the two of you. Ryo hasn't really said much. Flar says, Ryo? Yes. So, do you have any advice for our newest elder? No. He said, Eldred's a very smart young man. He'll do fine. I wouldn't have recommended him. I wouldn't have gone along with it. I wouldn't have stood here if I didn't think that was true. Eldred will do fine. And he knows that he can come to any of us if he has questions. You do know that, don't you, Eldred? He says, oh yes, I know. I know that. This is good. And you know that you can go to Cecilia, Villar says. He says, why would I do that? He says, I'm confused. Why would I go to Cecilia? He says, I don't know. He says, but you can, if you feel the need. Eldred says, I'm sorry, Villar, but he said, as much as I am a newly sworn in elder, he said, my opinion only. Understand this, it's my opinion. But the relationship between seer and chief should be in the forefront, should be the most important. I mean, if I'm not going to not go and pay her a visit, Fig and I will go, you know, have tea with her or whatever, but as far as anything official, no. No. I'm sorry. I won't do that. Flar says, that's fine, Eldred, but he said, I want you to know that you can. He says, well, I have you all here. He says, I want to know your opinions of what we should do with the men. Eldred. He said, I have no opinion on this, Villar. He said, you're to be my family. He said, and I just want them dead. I have no opinion on what you should do. He said, if you want my opinion, I guess, I say execute them. That's harsh, but that's how I feel. Noted. He says, what say you, Glenn? He says, I say let them go. Truly, Flar says. He says, yes. He said, if they're going to head to Elthenor, Cecilia has already seen that that group of ruffians are going to be killed by the mind raper. Let them go. That will be the end of it. They'll be out of our hair. You want my opinion, that's it. Villar says, Alwyn. She says, as much as part of me agrees with Eldred and part of me agrees with Glenn, I think you need to question them. They may not tell you anything, but it wouldn't hurt to try. My opinion. Rio says, I agree with Galan, let them go. But have it so that they think they escaped. Because that will put a fire under them and get them out of here quicker. He says, that's my opinion. He said, I thought of letting them go as well, to be honest. I just said, are you serious? Yes. He said, I just want that part of everything to be done, over with. I want it in the past. I want to move on. He said, so. 3 against 2. Letting them go. But as Rio said, making it look like they escaped. Good plan. I will let Ebony know. Oh, says, you really don't want to question him? He says, no, I don't. He says, I basically know what happened. He says, and I don't care why they feel they needed to turn on their chief. I don't care why they did it. I don't care what they think I'm guilty of. Because I'm not. It was Elthenor. All of it. And the sooner this mind raper takes care of her, the better off everyone will be. He says, oh, is there any other business? They all say no. This is very well. He said, then this meeting is called to a close. Welcome to Eldred, our newest elder. And that's where we're going to leave this part of the story. Wow. So it's official. Eldred the Elder. That's kind of funny. Wow. Well, it wasn't Falar's idea to find these men. He wanted them to continue to run. So I'm not surprised that he was just voted to let them go. I'm sure Eldred and Alwyn are not feeling overly confident about this. I think Falar knows what he's doing. So until we get together the next time, my friends, remember, never let anyone dull your sparkle. And no,